So welcome everyone to the latest episode of Coffee with Christiansen. Today I am joined by a lady I have known a very long time, Erin Orford, who started with the riding for the disabled when she was 2 years old and is now European and world medalist in grade 3. And we met at South Buckside, didn't we? A long time ago. I can't
Back in the
even
day.
remember.
I think it was like Athens time.
Yeah, and obviously Erin and I could talk about absolutely everything. But today, I thought we'd stick to a subject that I mentioned quite a lot, and that's encouraging more owners and sponsors into the sport. And Erin's had multiple owners over the years, so she's really good insight into how to cultivate that relationship. So, when we were talking before, you took me back to the World in 2007, where you met Diana Barley. Tell us a bit about that story.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a in the right place at the right time situation. I really wanted to take the opportunity with it being at Hartbury and go and watch the best in the world and experience that occasion sort of thing. So I decided to go as a writer and volunteered to do that. And I actually wrote for Chris Porterfield, who was judging there, so that was an amazing experience. And yeah, I learned a lot, just even sitting in the box with Chris and what judges are looking for. And so at the time there were quite a lot of borrowed horses for other nationalities. So Diana had actually put her top horse, Nirvana, or Mr. B as he was known, she had lent him to an Argentinian rider, Patricio, and he was riding him in, what's now the grade 4 class. And she, really enjoyed the experience, really enjoyed seeing her horse compete at that level with another rider. And I think he was 17 at the time, 16, 17. So she competed him up to small tour and wanted to drop him down a little bit, and this was the perfect opportunity for him, really. So, David Hamer, who was my programme manager at the time, was approached about seeing if there was a British rider who might be interested in riding him, and he had to stay at Diana's yard, obviously, because he was a pride and joy. And I went along and tried him, and kind of went from there.
The rest is history. Yeah, I love that photo of you on him without any legs. That is an iconic photo for me.
So that was a bit of a funny one. So he was quite a lazy horse, and they used to call him a bit of a diesel engine because it took him a bit of a while to get going. And I'd agreed to do this demo at Blenheim, and I think the day before my legs broke, so my dad took them to hospital, and I didn't want to let them down, and I said, should we try without? So I tried for the first time the night before, and he was really good, so we went for it. And I remember them sort of commentating at the time and being like, I'm not really sure what Erin's going to do today because I've never seen her ride without legs. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to be able to do either, but yeah, he was amazing, and it just showed kind of how much of the aid came from my body and my hip rather than my legs.
Amazing. And through Guy, you had a bit of a partnership with Nirvana Spa. And I know they sponsored some of the para riders, para competitions after you became involved. That was amazing. Like, how did you, make them want to get more involved?
I mean, I'm not sure I made them. Yeah, no, Diana was, competed herself and still competes in dressage. Is obviously a massive fan of that. And Nirvana Spa and her husband John sponsored a lot of the BD stuff, and they used to do the Young Horse Pro St George and things like that. And yeah, I'm not sure how they made the transition, but they then started sponsoring the Winter Championships for the Paras, which was amazing, and supporting everyone that way. So yeah, it's really good to be able to get a company behind us as well, and a company that had been part of BD and are still part of British Dressage, and for someone to see what we do and that actually we are competitive, and it's the same level of competition as such as you would find in able-bodied, and yeah, it kind of went from there. And then I rode a couple of younger horses, Nirvana Moon Dancer and Nirvana Pure Indulgence, and Pure Indulgence actually went to London 2012 with Patricio, because I wasn't selected that year, and he borrowed him, and they kind of did a full circle back from 2007. So that was quite cool, and it was nice for after everything they'd put into me, for them to get to experience the London Games, even though I wasn't there. So that was a really great experience, and it was just nice to see him going in that atmosphere and showing everyone what he could do.
Yeah, and we've spoken a bit about often horse owners don't know what's required in a para horse. The amount of times I've flapped up and shit to go see a horse and it's either lame or super lazy. What would you say you look for in an ideal horse?
Yeah, it's a funny one. Like, I often, when I see an advert about a para horse, it makes me a bit suspicious, because what about that horse have they identified to be an ideal horse?
Yeah.
Because you can't generalize what we need, because what is a great horse for me isn't a great horse for you necessarily, and everyone has such different needs as a rider, depending on what grade you're in or what disabilities you have. It's like saying this would be an amazing performance horse and not specifying jumping, eventing, dressage. They can't be good at everything. And so, like, for me, my disability is with my hands and my lower legs, which obviously were amputated. So I need a horse that goes, and a quiet horse and a lazy horse that looks safe isn't really the ideal situation for me. But at the same time, I don't want something that's too strong, because I have difficulties with my hands. But I always feel like that's a little bit easier to fix. If the horse is going, you can always make them a little bit more sensitive and a bit more responsive to your weight and hands. So kind of a good engine is on my list. Ideally a good temperament. You don't want something too sharp, and that's a bit of a challenge, because you have to have something that goes and is responsive enough to respond to your aids, often they're sharp and they respond to outside things as well, which is not what you want. But I think you can't make generalizations. You could say this horse is a super walk, so it would be good as a walk horse. But yeah, it's, I think we're all really looking for a similar thing, with good quality and good temperament, and then the other specifics are more individual, I think.
Yeah, and actually the thing I always find on people, if you're selling your horse, please put some walk in the video. Like for us, grade one, well, all grades and not able-bodied tests have walking. So the amount of times I've had a message out of people saying, can I see more walk, medium walk, and free walk? I've lost count of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people are keen to show off a flashy trot, or blind changes or good lateral work. But again, for the higher grades, that's important that the horse has got the ability to do stuff like that. But yeah, for us, the basics, the basic quality needs to be there, doesn't it? There are some things that you can't improve, and there are some things that you can.
Yeah, definitely. So when we talked about encouraging more owners into this sport, what do you think they can get in return from para dressage?
I suppose it depends what they're looking to get out of it. So, for some owners, they want to be involved in the day-to-day stuff, and they like seeing the horse and people train together. And I think it's amazing, what different riders can bring out different things in horses. And, but there's so many opportunities, like going abroad and competing internationally, like Pims or Dior, my top horse, she's lovely, but there's no way she'd be in contention for a Europeans at Grand Prix. But she has been very successful nationally and with Annie, and internationally with me. And there's just different qualities, isn't there? And I think they were very surprised about the level of support that they got when we went to the Europeans and to WEG. And that's not something necessarily that they expected. And they followed Pims around the country and gone to local shows and gone to school trainings as well as the bigger shows. But it's something that, was offered, and I'm really glad that it was offered, because, horses are a massive part of competing, but also of training and our journeys. And I think, that made the occasion a little bit more special, because they felt part of the team.
Yeah.
But there's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes as well, even without taking the championships into consideration, seeing your horse at the top level, and even, for young riders developing and learning, and, there's so much care and attention that goes into the horses that, on another yard, they might just be another ride for someone, or they might, I'd love to know how many talented horses are just sitting in the field, or, doing other jobs. But yeah, that's...
Well, thank you so much, Erin, for joining me. Look, I'd love to have you back another time, because we could talk about anything. But yeah, you're the expert on, how to form a good relationship with owners.
I don't know about expert, but I try. I've been very lucky.
Yeah, thank you, and I will hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.